opening day on Friday. I know our team has worked extremely hard, in the off-season, the early part of this spring, and just looking forward to playing somebody else. After a while, you get tired of playing each other, and excited for this group and anxious to see how they perform, and look forward to it.
Coach Sherrod McDonald of the Daily News. I know we spoke on Zoom last year, but first time in person. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I guess looking at the off season, what were some of the main focuses that you guys, had in mind heading into this season?
Well, we had several players that were with us for a number of years, and Kevin Lambert and Ray Zucker and Jack Wilson, a lot of guys who put a lot of time and effort into the program. So obviously we had to replace a lot of those guys. I think when you see our team and our club, you'll notice on the infield, we'll probably be having 2 or 3 new players on the infield. The outfield, we returned a lot of the players from the outfield last year, and Justin Carlin and Ty Krittenberger, Jackson Gray. So some new faces on the infield. Catchers, we got returned both of our catchers, Ricky Leonad and Hunter Evans. So feel good about a lot of the position players this year.
Coach Maxwell Trink with WKU. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I wanted to ask you about this year, the schedule, just looking at it, besides CUSA, we play, of course, with FAU and FIU. There's some tough out-of-conference opponents that you're playing between Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Louisville. How is it looking at the schedule going into this season?
Yeah, and then you look at, you're looking at teams that were in regionals last year. Central Michigan had an outstanding year, and then you're looking at our teams in conference. You play a Power 5 in Illinois program, and so we tried to schedule a challenging schedule. For us to do what we want to do with the program, and have an opportunity to compete in Conference USA and win a championship, you have to play great teams, and we certainly feel like our schedule is going to be a challenge. But when these guys saw it, they were excited and looking forward to it.
Coach, with a more challenging schedule, post-conference play, then you go in the conference play. You had, I think, 4 or 5 teams that were top 25 last year. How does that prepare you going into that conference play?
Yeah, our conference last year, 4 teams go to the regionals, a tremendous year for the conference. And so we know that's the type of teams that we have to compete against and have an opportunity to win. We have to prepare. How do you prepare for that? You play great teams in non-conference, and we talked about those midweek games in Vanderbilt, Kentucky, those guys in Louisville. What more? They're all top 5 programs.
Coach Bernopper from WBKO. Jackson Gray, he was named to the Collegiate Slugger Award watch list. What do you expect from him this season compared to last season?
Well, first of all, he had a great year for us last year, and anytime a new player comes in, you really never know what to expect, but had a tremendous year for us, and he'll be a player that teams will take notice of right away. They can just look at the stats and see what he did last year. So the biggest thing for him is just not try to do too much, and he's worked on his game, and he's gotten a lot better. Look forward to watching him compete this year.
Coach, of course, you signed the contract extension before the start of the year. What does that mean to you to be a part of this program?
It's exciting. Western Kentucky has given me a wonderful opportunity in a place where we can develop and train players not only on the field but off the field, and enjoy working with these guys. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, obviously, and look forward to continuing to build the program and move the program forward.
Coach, I'm Camden Bush with the College Heights Herald. Have there been any standout freshmen in practice yet? Step up and play some of the.
Yeah, I think we've got some young players that people will hear about over time. Ty Batusic, a left-handed hitting catcher, Brody McKay, an infielder, and AJ Fichter, another infielder. Both of those guys have done a really good job. And then on the pitching staff, there's, we feel like we've got a good group. Cooper Hellman and Luke Senard, some of those names, I think, as we move forward through the season, I think you'll see more and more work from them, and whether it's playing or innings on the mound, those are some of the young guys that I'm excited about seeing.
You mentioned some of those young pitchers, but your staff as a whole, how's it looking, both starting rotation and some of the guys you have coming out of the bullpen?
Well, I think when you look at our team from last year, we played 4 games on the weekend last year, which was not a lot of fun. for anybody. It makes long days, but we did what we needed to do to play 4, and we're fortunate we've got all 4 of those starters back. And with Jake Cates and Sean Bergeron, Devin Turbrack, and Luke Stoffel, all 4 of those guys. So it gives us the luxury of having some experience, but they have to now go out with that experience and perform and learn to get better and move their game forward. So excited about the staff, certainly the experience part of it.
Do you know who you're going to throw out there day one?
Yeah, Jake Cates will throw for us Friday night. And then we will throw Sean Bergeron on Saturday and Devin Turbrack on Sunday. So those 3 guys have done a great job, and they're going to get the opportunity this weekend.
Of course, you look at the regular season and you look at this upcoming weekend, but have you figured out what you're doing in the midweek? Are you going to have a rotation of guys that go through the midweek, or is it going to be one?
Great question. Not really sure yet. When opening weekend comes, sometimes the best plans change dramatically. We're going to focus in on this weekend. We know who our 3 starters are. See who we use out of the bullpen, and then determine what we're going to do on Tuesday. I think we have some options, just not really sure what we're going to do with it yet.
Coach, you had some games last year that you had a really good pitching game, but the offense wasn't getting going, and then offense was going, and then pitching wasn't as there when sometimes you need them. How do you get those complete games going into the season?
Well, I think the biggest thing is understanding. Baseball's a challenging game as it is, and 9 innings and tough to get 27 outs sometimes, and that's the thing when teams win at a high level, they're playing solid defense. They're doing a great job on the mound, coming up with timely hitting. It's not about getting 10 or 15 hits. You may only get 3 or 4 hits, but it's when those hits come. So that's the thing. Teams that win at a high level play winning baseball when all those factors are on board, and hopefully we'll get off to a great start and see those guys continue to develop and win some games.
Coach, as a baseball fan myself, with the MLB lockout happening right now, how is it to have college baseball really be the standout right now with Major League Baseball's situation not really clear for the rest of the year?
I think first of all, I hate that the lockout's going on. Being a former player and everything, I hope that at some point they will come to some agreement, which they will. They're playing a game of chess right now. I certainly understand that. But for our game, for our players, college student athletes, people are excited that when springtime comes and you hear the bat and the balls and the leather and all that, summer's warmer weather's coming. So hopefully we're going to get the warmer weather, but these guys will have an opportunity to appease some of those people that are baseball fans and come out and support the Tops and be out here at the Nick.
There's a lot that's happened in college sports the last 2 years, starting with COVID and all the things that went with that, transfer rules, NIL, conference realignment. What's it been like as a coach navigating all this?
It's been a challenge. It really has. You come in an office and, you go through the transfer portal, and now you have the NIL, and you have, like you mentioned, the COVID year. So the way we coach and the way we did things, last year, last fall, 2 years ago, it evolves every day. As a college coach now, you have to wear so many different hats, and we have to adapt. It's part of the job. That's what we have to do as a society. When COVID hits, we have to learn how do we live with it? What do we have to do? What are the new rules moving forward? And that's part of what we do as coaches. We have to adapt, and what the players do too. They probably don't like the mask mandates and the things that are put on them, but we don't make the rules, but we will abide by the rules, and we got to make adjustments as we move forward.
Coach, you mentioned the infield switching up a little bit this season, and then you have Tristan Garcia in there at second base. But is there for sure starting infield going into the season with a lot of veterans?
I think over at third base, Matty Meyer will be over there at third base. He's done a tremendous job for us last year. He's going to get the opportunity there. Tristan Garcia, left-handed hitting. Second baseman will be over there. Shortstop, we've got 2 players. Eric Reif, who was with us last year, filled in for Kevin Lambert when he was out, and Brody McKay, another freshman that I mentioned already. Both those guys at short and first base, Gilroy or McAuliffe. We've got a couple constant time. We've got some options. So I think what you'll see early in the season, and you'll see some guys, us continuing to mix it up and see, who's going to take advantage of the opportunity they get.
I think Conference USA released their preseason all-conference team. I didn't see any of your guys on it. Does that any extra motivation, or do you just ignore that?
I tell them, one of the things that we have to do a good job is avoid all the noise and what's going on outside. Wherever they pick us, whether you're an all-conference, at the end of the day, when Friday at 3 o'clock, none of that stuff really matters. And it's some of the young guys may get caught up in it, or even an older guy that's been an all-conference player and is not selected, or where they pick us, and we don't control that. And I know that's coaches speak, but we talk about it. We need to go out and perform and win some games.